those titles history cannot be faked. Debt mortgage, well, you can basically represent the mortgage information or like a debt on the blockchain on the DiQi system as well. And earlier I also mentioned the credit score thing that may be helpful if you have this kind of history. Crypto equity. So a company might be able to issue a token that represents a share of the company, and then that user can basically trade it on the distributed exchange as well. So we do also offer an API as well. So that API is a bit higher level API, so it's easier to use than using our system directly. So these are the API information. So we have 4 types of API. The platform API is basically the one that for creating an account or make payments, etc., or like creating an issuer or minting a new coin, etc. And the analytics API is there to get the information about the blockchain, such as the block and also like the address balance, etc. And there's also API for the multi-sig exchange. So I think I'm almost out of time. And so let's go to conclusion first, and then so basically DiQi is the next-gen blockchain, and also it is a distributed smart property platform. DiQi leverage the technology behind the Bitcoin, so that, and also but it extended the Bitcoin for some important smart property capability, and also making certain mining chain improvement. Okay, so these are some of the earlier slides that in the morning I wasn't able to talk about in the morning, and looks like I'm kind of out of time for that too. And basically the consensus here was talking about like for example, what is proof of work? Proof of work is something that's not very trivial to do, but it's going to be very easy to verify, so that you want it to be like, for example, ON square or N cube to actually do your proof of work, but just O1 to or ON to like verify. And this is basically I'm showing you the mining. What is the mining processes? The mining process is like you put a transaction into a block and hash a block, and if the value has a desired property, then this is a valid block. So the desired property is that the hashed value is smaller than a certain value. And consensus is always down for like the longest chain of blocks. So if there are more than one, if there's a fork, if there are more than one forks, then you choose the one that is longest. And I'm just talking about like there's the Bayes-Tens general problem that is a classical computer science problem, and this is kind of solved by using this consensus algorithm. So, and I have more slides because consensus is really a topic by itself. It will warrant the entire session just to talk about consensus. And there's like mining, etc. And then this is basically the same process I was mentioning earlier, that I mentioned here. and I want to mention about, okay, some resources, and well, reach the next generation. Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Solomon? Okay. We'll have question.
Thank you for your presentation. The previous talk, which is Rizzo, about the Ethereum, and the Ethereum is like the smart contract, and Rizzo give us a exchange example. So, can you compare it with DiQi systems?
So I think the spiritual system, right? I mean, spiritual system, they did not, they haven't come out completely yet, right? So that a lot of details are not yet available because they are not out yet. So I think it is based on the Ethereum. And Ethereum is different type of system. Ethereum has execution capability in its network, so that they have chain complete script. So this is more like it's based on execution. And for our system, right, is most of the nodes have to follow the same protocol, and the execution part is not their main focus of the capability. So the exchange that's done on a system like ours would be something that where the buy book and the sell book, the order book would be put onto the blockchain, and then the matching is done through that way. So this is would be quite different from their system. Yeah.
Any questions for Solomon and DiQi? Okay.
So, how do the token represent the depth of the assets? And how can we define the exchange rate between different currency? Yeah, so my English is not well, but just then.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. And then, so the tokens, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you can create a different type of tokens on the system, and you can say that this is there's a certain meeting schedule, etc. And then you can also put certain metadata onto that token to say that this is what we represent. But it is really up to the issuer to say that what the token really represents. So the token, the issuer may choose to say, okay, this token is representing 1 unit of bond or 1 unit of debt. The second question is about the exchange rate, right? Well, the rate is really set by the user themselves, so it's like driven by the market. So, for example, if there's a seller who is willing to sell a certain asset for a certain amount of money or a certain amount of other currency, they'll issue a sell order for that. And the buyer can also issue a buy order that says that they are willing to buy this asset for a certain amount of other currency. And if the prices matches, then the deal will go through. So there's no set price, but the price is actually market driven.
Any questions?
Hello, and that's the talk session about the block cipher, and I asked a question to Josh. is that the Bitcoin has a 51% tax problem, and in the DiQi, our hash rate, our hash function is possible to as powerful as Bitcoin network. So how does DiQi to prevent the 51% attack or just not prevent?
Okay, that's a very good question because our system, right, the hashing power, because like we have some private ledger, the hashing power will be much less than the Bitcoin's hashing power. But we do a different type of mining to mitigate that problem. So first, only the alliance member can mine. So this prevents a 51% attack from the non-alliance member. And the alliance members, right, they are the one who keeps the system or who has the special privilege on the system. They are the one who has the most to gain on the system, and so they are not the one that usually would want to destroy the network. So it is unlikely that they will want to do something malicious on the system. And also on the protocol side, right, we also have a measure to make sure that one alliance member cannot monopolize the creation of a block by the dynamically adjusted difficulty that I was talking about earlier. So even though they may have a lot of hashing power, they don't necessarily going to monopolize the block creation either. So that way we basically we reduce the problem of the 51% attack. I hope that answered your question.
So we just let the school chain instead get to finding the block. So is there any difference between the school chain and DiQi?
So one thing. Hello? Yeah. So one thing is I don't know the school chains stuff. They talk about the system being you need to have a delegate, but obviously I don't have the detail of the school chains system. I can only talk about what our system does. So on our systems, there's a certain type of alliance member, and the alliance member are the one who are entrusted with the mining. So the alliance member are the one who can actually create a block. Hope that answered your questions. It is possible that the school chain system is similar to the DiQi system, but we don't know unless we talk to discuss this with school chain.
Any questions for Solomon and DiQi? Okay, we have Ben.
I want to ask that, in the morning we mentioned about the color coin, and they talk about the issuer, and in DiQi we have another kind of group that is alliance, and does the alliance and issuer they play different role in the whole network, or why they after we add their alliance, and what can the other alliance do better, or what can provide more services rather than the design of color coin?
Okay, can you specify the question? Sorry, can you say that again?
The more straightforward opinion that issuers should provide the coins that they can mint the coins to give to other people, other members or users, and so why there's a necessity of other group of people like alliance that they can what can they do rather than just need issuers.
Okay, I see what your questions are. Question is okay. So yeah, on color coin, right, that anyone can issue the new currency, but on DiQi, right, there's the approval was required first. So what that means is that the alliance member can require that the issuer has certain type of backing. So basically, they have certain type of asset to back their new token or their new currency. So that way, they can be sure that anything on their network, anything that get issued on their network, is at least of certain type of thing that they decide. Yeah.
So the power of generating new blocks and minting new coins are separated in the DiQi system. Maybe can give more flexibility to like mint their own coins, but not giving them all the powers to generating blocks.
So the alliance member could be an issue as well, but there's but their biggest power is really in appointing different issuers.
Any questions?
Alex.
We have Alex.
Excuse me, I have a question. It's about the decentralized. Once, for example, my first question will be how long it takes to get the information of the decentralized of the information from the transaction or so from the transaction of the client or the person or the user during the decentralization. How long does it take? For example, if I would like to get the information of the person that he already made a transaction, I will have to wait how long, for example?
Oh, okay. So I think there are two parts of the questions. One is like when do we get to know about the transaction?
Yes.
When it is broadcast to a network, right? Usually it's pretty quick. Probably because like most of the time we have less node than the Bitcoin's node, right? So any nodes on the system will probably get the information pretty quickly. Then the second part of the question is when does the transaction that is broadcast to a network get into the blockchain? So get to be included in blockchain. So our confirmation time is 15 seconds right now. So so on average it will be 15 seconds to be included on one of the included in the blockchain.
That's fine.
Yeah. So the first question, when does it get to be seen on the network? It is usually like within seconds to be seen on the network, because the any nodes that receive that transaction will relay that transactions. Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Solomon. And next, we will have Dr. Steve Liao to give us a talk about today's conclusion.
Thanks, Solomon and everyone. Yeah, I believe people are excited, even more excited by now. And I really like this cross-door family-style environment. And people here are like passionate about blockchains technology and the public ledger technology as well. Like throughout the day, like we got many more interesting questions or comments. For example, Taidong suggested we should have like campus-oriented DiQi blockchain that allow students to issue currency to make applications out of DiQi APIs. I think that's actually exactly what we are trying to do tomorrow. Tomorrow there's this 2B hackathon, and like for y'all, the students, they will join the hackathon tomorrow, and like we thank everyone here to putting a lot of efforts in making this successful. And then like actually even this afternoon I was dealing with the tables and the chairs situation for the 2B hackathon tomorrow. So I apologize. I had to sometimes go in and out to handle the events tomorrow. And so please do come tomorrow. Like it's 9 o'clock. Right. So in the Kelly and Anderson and Solomon, everyone, Jerry, who did most of the slides, and they really putting a lot of efforts. And I think, like I said in the morning, usually the discussion after the events have even higher entropy. So I encourage people to stay behind in the chats among us, and so it's not just that one-way speech, but two-way interaction. I have all the time tonight to have further discussion. And again, thanks everyone for coming, and we'll have wonderful discussion in the evening as well. Thank you.
Thank you all for attending and providing your wonderful insights and bringing your experience. That concludes the 2015 International Conference on Bitcoin and Blockchain. Thank you, and we will see you in tomorrow's 2B Hackathon.